Today, we're diving into a really powerful framework for hitting peak performance. But here's a twist. It's not about grinding harder or pushing through. Nope. It's about mastering the one thing you actually have complete control over, your internal state. And this framework is called the I am method.
So let's kick things off with a problem that I'm willing to bet almost every high achiever has run into. The source material calls it the strategic disconnect, and it's a real doozy.
Have you ever been there? You're in a high-stakes situation. You're trying so hard to make something happen, and the more you push, the further away the goal seems to get. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, it turns out there's a very real biological reason for that.
Okay, this slide gets right to the heart of it. On the left, you see the old way. See all that red in the brain? Those are high-activity beta waves. That's your brain basically on high alert, in a stress or a survival mode. And when you're in that state, building trust is, well, it's biologically impossible. Now look over to the right. That's the goal, a calm, coherent connection between your brain and your heart. So the big takeaway here is this. The problem isn't your talent, it's your internal dysregulation.
And this right here is the core premise, the absolute bottom line. Your performance will always collapse to the level of your internal regulation. You can be the most skilled person in the world, but if your internal operating system is glitching out, your performance is going down with it.
So the big question is, how do we upgrade that system? Well, the I am method gives us a totally new way to look at our internal world, not as a bunch of random feelings, but as an actual emotional architecture that we can learn to navigate.
And here it is. This is the map. It's called the Unified Emotional Spiral. Now, this isn't just some mood chart. You need to think of it as a biological guide to your nervous system. From joy and passion way up at the top, all the way down to worry and blame at the bottom, every single state you experience is somewhere on this spiral.
As you can pretty clearly see, the spiral has two very distinct directions. You've got the upward spiral, which leads to high performance and flow states. That's where you find passion, joy, and clarity. And then you have the downward spiral. That, on the other hand, leads to low performance and just total emotional drain, with states like worry, doubt, and overwhelm. Now, this is absolutely crucial, so lean in for this one. The goal is not to avoid bad emotions. I mean, come on, that's a losing battle. The whole point is to understand that every emotion is just a signal, an indicator of your system's regulation. It's all about learning how to manage your ascent and descent on this one single unified spiral.
Okay, so if we're on this spiral, how do we actually manage where we are? How do we stop a downward slide? The answer lies in the single most important pivot point in this entire model. And the key isn't some complex technique, it's one simple, incredibly powerful state: gratitude.
This is what's called the gratitude bridge. Think of it as a neutral 0 point. It's the one state that can literally halt a downward spiral, restore that biological coherence we talked about, and, most importantly, give you back the power of choice.
And you can see it right here in the diagram. Gratitude is literally the bridge that connects the downward spiral of low performance with the upward spiral of flow. By tapping into this state, you're giving your nervous system a moment of stability and perspective, which lets you reverse the descent.
And I love this quote from Mabel, the creator of the method. Her whole philosophy is that we're not just managing emotions as they come and go. No, we are architecting the very foundation of our internal state. It's a total game changer.
And look, this isn't just some theory somebody cooked up. It's built on a massive foundation of expertise. Its creator, Mabel has written 38 books, she advises presidents and global leaders, and has a career spanning over 40 years, from clinical psychology to executive mentoring. This is a system that has been tested at the absolute highest levels.
So, what is the science that makes this whole emotional architecture thing so effective? Let's take a look under the hood at how we can actually upgrade our human operating system.
The big paradigm shift here is moving away from effortful self-improvement, just gritting your teeth and trying harder, and moving toward regulated self-operation. It's not about pushing the machine, it's about running better code. The I am method is the software that gets rid of all that stress noise, and our biology is the hardware.
And a key piece of our biological hardware is the heart. Now get this, research shows the heart acts like a little brain. It has its own network of 40,000 sensory cells. So it's not just pumping blood, it's thinking, it's feeling, and it's sending incredibly powerful signals up to your brain. This leads to a huge insight. Real influence begins the moment your nervous system settles down. And that whole process starts with the heart. So what's the target state for this heart-brain harmony? Well, it's a very specific frequency, 0.1 hertz. It's like tuning a radio to the perfect station. When your heart and your brain are both vibrating at this frequency, which, by the way, happens to be the planet's natural resonance, it signals deep, profound safety to your nervous system. And when that happens, your body literally switches from producing cortisol, the stress hormone, to DHEA, the hormone for vitality. Pretty cool, huh?
So what's the payoff for all this? What does life actually look like when you're consistently operating from this place of coherence? What's in it for you?
Well, it's the difference between being a desperate performer and a regulated operator. The desperate performer is always reactive, stressed out, chasing results. But the regulated operator, they're intentional, they're clear, and they walk into any situation from a place of total internal mastery.
This is what life in the upward spiral is all about. It's that state of flow. It's defined by joy, passion, and genuine belief. When you're in this regulated state, you create what the Source calls a coherence bubble around you. This is your field of influence. It's what helps you activate trust in other people and allows results to just come to you naturally, without all that struggle and force.
So, I'll leave you with this final question to think about. If you could stop fighting against your own biology and instead learn to architect your internal state for success, what could you truly achieve? What would be possible for you then?